Approve that.
Thanks, Amber.
Yeah.
Thanks, Abby. Good afternoon, all, and thank you for your patience. I'd like to welcome everyone to this meeting of the Boston Art Commission. My name is Alexandra Paul Zotov, and I'm the Public Art Registrar in the Mayor's Office of Arts and Culture. In this capacity, I'm also the administrator of the Boston Art Commission. Let's all just take a moment to update our names and pronouns as well as make sure we're muted. In accordance with the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Executive Order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, we are conducting this meeting virtually. As a reminder, these has been extended until 2026. To ensure public access to the deliberations of the Art Commission, the public can join this through telephone and video conferencing. For those of you with us today, this meeting is being recorded and closed captioning is available, which you may access at the bottom of your screen.
Thank you, Paul, and thanks everybody for being here. And thank you for your patience as we learn how to run these meetings as a webinar. Um, I just want to clarify that this is our first time running the Art Commission meetings as a webinar, and thank the team here for all the work they did to help us transition. We did go through a Zoom bombing last time, which is why we've made this change, and we'd love your feedback and support in this new structure and hoping it works well for us. But again, thank you for your patience. And we'll kick off just with a little more a reminder of who we are. The Mayor's Office of Arts and Culture and the Boston Art Commission believe that public art is any artwork installed in publicly accessible spaces where they can be experienced by everyone for free. For transparency and community input, artworks proposed for City of Boston property are viewed and discussed at public meetings of the Boston Art Commission on a regular, usually monthly basis. Working together with the Public Art Team and the Mayor's Office of Arts and Culture, the BAC, Boston Commission, is an independent board composed of 2 ex officio and 7 volunteer community members appointed by the mayor. The BAC has exclusive authority to approve and commission artworks intended to be added to the city's collection or placed on city property. And to do that work, we have a wonderful public art team in the Mayor's Office of Arts and Culture. And this team, facilitates all public meetings and the phases, daily operations, and duties related to public art projects in Boston on city property in collaboration with the BAC community members, colleagues at the city, as well as many others. And here today, helping to facilitate this meeting are Amber Torres, Public Art Project Manager, Birgit Worsters, Senior Public Art Project Manager, and Alexandra Paul Zotov, Public Art Registrar. And we also have Emily Rose Navarro, Transformative Art and Monuments Project Coordinator, and Liza Quinones, Mural Consultant. A couple of the other folks that we work with are Josh Crane, the Conservation Consultant, and Erin Genia, who is with us today as our Indigenous Public Art and Cultural Spaces Consultant. And if you have any questions, please email us. We'll drop our email, bac@boston.gov, in the chat. And I think we would move into roll call next. Have we
Well, I can make introductions, Karen, and then move into
Okay.
director's report before we call the meeting to
Perfect.
order. Thanks for your patience, everyone. We're just waiting on one more commissioner so that we have a quorum. Thank you for joining us today. This is the public meeting of the Boston Art Commission, one of our monthly meetings, and we generally hold those meetings on the second Tuesday of every month, and we hope you'll continue to join. We at the Public Art Commission discuss engaging conversations about public art in Boston in order to foster the creation and collection of artworks that reflect the people, ideas, histories, and futures of Boston, which is located on the traditional homeland of the Massachusetts people and the neighboring Wampanoag and Nipmuc peoples. We acknowledge the atrocities committed against Indigenous peoples, all of the communities that have been subsequently harmed, and the ways in which colonialism has created systemic oppression. We recognize the continuing presence of these communities and the Indigenous peoples represented in the city's residents, in addition to those in the diaspora. We also recognize that Boston exists as a result of the forced labor and economic extraction from enslaved African Americans. And now I'll pass to Director Karen Goodfellow for her director's report.
Thank you, John. So we have 7 presentations to share with you today. We're really excited, and we have confirmed that Diana is on her way. So we will take our roll call just as soon as she gets here, so we can officially start. But as a preview, the projects we're looking at today are Picture of the Year, which is a temporary artwork, which we'll look at for final design for City Hall Plaza. And the proponent for that is Meredith Neerman and the Boston Press Photographers Association. We also have Portraits of Pride, another temporary artwork here for final design for Christopher Columbus Waterfront. And the artist there is John Hood, and working with Jean Dolan from Boston LGBTQ Museum. And DeWitt Playground is returning for the Mirror of History. It's a long-term integrated artwork here for final design, and this is going to be an update. And that is with the play team led by Marlon Forrester and Studio Luz. And the proponent is the City of Boston. Birgit Worster will be sharing a little bit as an introduction as the project manager. We also have some great projects that Liza has been leading. We have We All Belong, a long-term mosaic as part of Canvas of Culture. And that's the Phineas Bates Elementary School in Rosendale with artist Mia Shawn and Paul Zotab as Public Art Registrar will be representing the introduction to that one. And we're also going to have a couple other long-term murals to be looked at, which are both part of Canvas of Culture. And we have artist selection on those at the Sarah Roberts Washington Irving School in Roslindale. We have one, and Liza will share that for Street Theory in the City of Boston. And then we have another one at the Beethoven Elementary School, which would be artist selection, and that's in West Roxbury. And Liza will present that as well. And lastly, another artist selection for the Canvas of Culture Initiative at the Ornberger School in West Roxbury. We're really excited for that one. Just going to take a pause to see if did Diana make it in yet? No. Okay. Oh, you are here. Okay, we have a quorum. John, do you want to? Should we do that?
Thanks for joining us, Diana. Now that all 5 of us are here, I call this public hearing to order at 4:51 p.m. Commissioners, after I state your name, please say here. I begin with Vice Chair James Mason.
Here.
Diana Fernandez-Bibo.
Present.
Brian Hone.
Here.
I know that Nigel can't join us this evening. Abigail Norman.
Here.
And I obviously am here as well. So we do have a quorum. On this slide, you'll see today's agenda, also posted publicly on the city's website, boston.gov. And now we'll take a few minutes to review the April meeting minutes. Are there any comments or modifications any commissioners would like to make? Great, hearing none. Would any commissioner like to make a motion to approve the April meeting minutes?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the April 8th meeting minutes.
Thanks, Diana. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thanks, James. After I say your names, Commissioner, please say yes if you agree with the motion. James?
Yes.
Diana?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Abigail?
Yes.
And I'm a yes as well. The motion passes. And now, Karen, I pass it back to you to continue your director's report.
Thank you. Great. So for projects in fabrication, in preparation for an upcoming presentation to the Public Improvement Commission, we've been working with the Public Works Department and the United Neighbors of Lower Roxbury to finalize all relevant construction documents and legal agreements for the future site of the legacy of Frederick Douglass. Public Works plans to advertise the invitation for bids this summer and contract a company to begin construction this fall. The sculpture and the book base are now being constructed fully of bronze. So once the plaza construction nears completion this fall, we will have Chiodo Art Development deliver the sculpture from California to Boston for a seamless installation, which is really exciting. And congratulations to everybody on that, and especially here, Amber, for her work with the community, and Birgit for her work in particular, helping us navigate that base. The Coconut Grove Memorial, Emergent Memory, which you can see in the images here. The design team has finalized the layout of the names of those lost in the fire. Stone etching and placement can now begin in preparation for installation of the memorial in Statler Park later this year. Destiny Palmer recently submitted her final design to the installers at Speed Pro, and we expect to receive a printed vinyl sample from them in the mail this week. As seen in the examples above, minor design changes were made to simplify the installation process. The artist has also been able to refine some of the marks from the original 2023 design. Project manager Amber Torres will attend a senior breakfast event at the Vine Street BCYF this week to drum up excitement for the upcoming mural. We anticipate that this will be installed by very early summer. This is very exciting, and congratulations to Amber for all her work there, and to Destiny. MOAC is also currently working with Street Permitting Division to apply for street occupancy permit in order to schedule the installation of call and response radiating safety by Lamarche Fraser and Ralph Helmick at Engine 42 in Eggleston Square later this month. So as you see, we have a lot happening. A lot of these projects that have been developing for years are coming to fruition, including Priscilla de Carvalho's project at the Adams Street branch of the Boston Public Library. And she recently sent the public art team her final fabrication installation plans for the 3 artworks and at the library and the Adams Street BPL in Dorchester, and they were approved by the commission last summer. And we shared the plans with our reps at the BPL to review for any outstanding concerns. And her goal is to return to the BC for a final design presentation this summer. Copley Square, we're really very excited about this one as well. The artist recently submitted their preliminary design to the public art team for initial review, with the goal to present to the Boston Art Commission next month. And we're looking forward to working with the Louis D. Brown Peace Institute on a trauma-informed engagement approach surrounding the official project launch. And then for conservation, microfilm has been shipped to become digitized, while Archives is currently sorting through the paper files, with gratitude to our colleagues in Archives and intern Michaela from Simmons University, who had been working with Archives in Paul. And we're pleased to announce our partnership with Bloomberg Connects and look forward to sharing our guide with you all over the summer. And for citywide art collection conservation, with a very wet spring still happening, Deadless Conservation will begin working on this year's conservation treatment starting later in May due to inclement weather, and will present on additional conservation initiatives in June. The Healy painting is still being worked on in Faneuil Hall, and just a reminder that visitors are welcome to visit the Great Hall to drop in on the conservation, and we're planning on rehanging the painting next month, which we are very excited about. We have updates about Unmonument. I will say there are a lot of slides in this, so I'm going to move through this pretty quickly so that I know we lost a little time at the beginning, and I don't want to keep people too long, as I know we're going to lose a quorum. So this or answer any. Great. So we can. This is our team that is working on it, and we have also been working with various consultants, and you can see many of them here. And we have on the temporary monuments, we have a really wonderful group of advisors who have been working closely with us. And if you're not familiar with Unmonument, it is a program that the Mayor's Office of Arts and Culture is leading in collaboration with many partners from across the city, funded by a $3 million grant from the Mellon Foundation. And we're presenting this work through public art, free public programs, writing, and hands-on workshops. And the intent of it is really to come up with a public art vision together as a community, and to shape what public art and monuments can look like in the future. And we are, going toward that using artistic experimentation, and that's why we're doing temporary monuments and multi-perspective dialogue. So that is why we have numerous curatorial perspectives and partners, where we really want our process to reflect the kinds of stories we're trying to tell in Boston. We have our program goals here, and I won't take us through it, but this all will be available online. So please, if you do want to learn more, please dig in. We're really excited about sharing all these stories with you. And the public art programming, as I mentioned, there were 6 curatorial visions. So as part of the grant we received, we immediately were sub-granting. So of the $3 million we received, $1 million of that went directly to our curatorial partners, so that they could lead their own curatorial initiatives. And that includes the Boston Public Art Triennial, Emerson Contemporary, Powell Arts Center, the National Center for Afro-American Artists, and the North American Indian Center Boston, NACOB. And the 6th one is us. And we have been taking the process of doing an open call. And we're going to update you on the artists that we're working with this year through that open call. So we have a list of the artists here, and we'll just move through that quickly because we'll share a little bit more with you on each of them today. And the first project that we're sharing here is the one curated by the Boston Public Art Triennial with Pedro Alonso and Tess Lukey. I think it goes like this: Pick Yourself Up by Nicholas Gallinen. And there is an opening for that piece happening next week in Evans Way. And I wonder if somebody can share the link to everyone. And on the next image, you can see the sculpture there. The Boston Public Art Triennial is very proud to present this project by internationally recognized Native American artist Nicholas Gallinen for the 2nd year of Boston's Unmonument Initiative. The proposed public art installation is presented as part of the citywide triennial, which is happening this summer, opening May 22nd through the end of October. Thanks, Leo. Oh, Ken, I will say we're having folks in the audience share links with us. Thank you, Jean, and thank you, Leo. Could somebody who is on the panel share those out to everyone? You can share them. So I think we have the Unmonument link and the Triennial link, and with the invitation to the ribbon cutting ceremony. And just the times of the upcoming events are here. The Boston Public Art Triennial's ribbon cutting on the 22nd at 11:30 in Evans Way. And for those of you who don't know, that's the park right in front of the Gardner Museum. And they have a talk at Roxbury Community College that afternoon. And they have a celebration at MAM where Brian works. And we're really excited for that as well. Here's a little bit about Nicholas. The next project from one of our curatorial partners is Hidden Histories with Elisa Hamilton, Clarice Hill, Sue Murad, and Camila J. Rashid, co-curated by Leonie Bradbury and Shana Gar. And this is at Emerson Contemporary. And so again, we're going to share these online if you want to be able to dig into them. But so we will just move through these. The next curatorial partner is the National Center for Afro-American Artists, curated by Barry Gaither in collaboration with Hibernian Hall and the Museum of African American History. The title of this work is going to be Finding Ourselves in Public Spaces, an Unmonument Project. And different than some of the other projects, they're going to be focused on leading a series of public conversations at different monuments across Roxbury, and then doing a public projection much as they did last year on the building, they will be doing a projection on the sculpture. You see their eternal presence. And on the next slide, you can see the events that they have scheduled. And we will be sharing these. Commissioners, we will share this with all of you. And to everybody else in the audience, we'll be sharing these as well. And again, this is organized by, curated by Barry Gaither, but organized with our former colleague, Jamal Eversley. And the next curatorial partner is NACOB for the memorialization of urban indigenous presence in the city of Boston with artists Ella Nathaniel Alkowitz, Robert Peters, and Janelle Fokowachet in collaboration with Shirley Paul. And that is co-curated by Janelle and Jean-Luc Perrottet. And here you can see each of the artists, and their project is really focusing on the building itself and making a monument of it and bringing public art, bringing artworks into the space and thinking through other ways to share out things like their archive. And we're very excited for that. And also some of our team members are going to be supporting that work. And we're really thrilled to be able to partner with all of these folks. POW Art Center is our next curatorial collaborator, public art series in Chinatown. The one that we're sharing right now, the first one is Plantable by Ecosistema Urbano, and this is curated by Lani Asuncion. And they also have a couple activations coming up, Celebration of Perseverance and Sprouts of Resilience. These were supported last year. Plantable is the new one, and we'll be able to share more about that one soon, but you can see a little bit about it on this next slide. So this is a very more experimental installation using plants. And we're going to share now the artists that were selected through the open call that we led. And you'll be seeing much more of these. Many of these are on city property, so they're going to be come back in to be voted on. Some of them won't, but we'll share updates. Ricardo Gomez's All for Love mural at the Roxbury branch of the Boston Public Library. Big Hoops to Fill by Jahari Ortega. This is installed right now in the Greenway, and they have a great event coming up, hopefully if it's not raining this Thursday. If someone can drop that link in, that's really exciting. Project and by a local artist. Breathe Life, Black Joy by Robert Pro Black Gibbs. And he will be doing a mural at the Epiphany School in Dorchester, but really we're thinking about like the series of the Breathe Life murals as monuments and extending that through this project. We have Cabin in the Sky by Ife Franklin. This is a project, we actually funded a version of this, I think in 2014 or 2015 in Franklin Park. So it's really wonderful to see this come back to the Overlook ruins in Franklin Park. And we have Love Letters to Malcolm by Lamerchi Frazier and Hakeem Rakib. This is really exciting with Unmun in particular, because this is an augmented reality proposal or project, and both Lamerchi and Hakeem took our augmented reality workshop at Emerson Contemporary last year and developed the project from there. Lamerchi's work will also be at that exhibit at Mass Art as part of her award from the Wagner Foundation. Honoring the Women of the Home for Aged Colored Women at Cedar Grove Cemetery by Aqua Homes. This is a project in partnership with the Boston Women's Heritage Trail, who will be doing a lot of research, and Aqua will bring public art into the installation. So we are very excited that our former vice chair is now one of the artists that we're working with. Ways of My Ancestors imagery, Lighting the Path to Awareness by Scott Foster. You may have seen Scott's work in the Mayor's Office Gallery before. He will be taking new photos and we'll be installing them at Quincy Market in collaboration with Scott. the busing boycott by Daphne Shu. We worked with her in Transformative a few years ago to develop the history trail in Chinatown, and now she's expanding it to tell the story about the experience of busing that was happening in Chinatown during desegregation of schools in Boston. Undocumented Monuments by Studio Lenka. This is by an artist who is working with different fibers to create these vessels, and we're really excited to bring these in and explore them as monuments in the story, tell the story of the people they represent. And here you see in the next photo the artist with some of those works, so you get a better sense of the scale. Interwoven Histories with Neda Mordapur, Azada Tajpour, and Rasheen Fahandej. And this is another augmented reality project telling the stories of women across the world and activism through their work. Our Names by Audrey Watkins. This is a project exploring the names that are on the Boston Public Library and Copley Square, the Central Library. And the artist will be talking to community about whose name should be up there. Journey of Light, a 1975 memorial field. Nyok Tran Vu is the artist here, and this will be at Townfield Park in Dorchester, in Fields Corner, and we'll be working to mark a very important year and anniversary for the Vietnamese American community using light, and we're very excited for her installation. And then we have conceptual design and final design, not final decision, but final design commissions, including Waiting Shelter by Pat Falco and Melissa Tang. And they are going to be creating monuments to bus shelters, noting how many have been removed across the city, and trying to explore the story of unhoused Bostonians through exploring bus shelters as forms. Caminantes Wayfarers by Salvador Jimenez Flores. Salvador, who is no longer in Boston but lived here for some time, will be creating sculptures to be sited in East Boston in 2026. On this site by Diane Dwyer, Diane will be creating a piece for the Paul Revere Mall, including plaques, and will be doing projections throughout the community, telling stories of people who are not represented in our plaques. Democratization of Art by Stephen Peters, who is from Smoke Signals and the Wampanoag Consulting Alliance. So he is going to lead a process with his community and a council and return to us with a proposal. This is just a placeholder for what they'll come back with after consulting with community. Exhibiting Culture by Brandon Rowe. The site is pending. This will be for 2026. Brandon will be creating an exhibition to tell the story of breakdancing, and in particular in Boston. And so working with local dancers and hip hop community to really bring photography, paintings, augmented reality, and multimedia works inspired by the evolution of the art form. And creating a space for activations of all different sorts. Untold Stories from the Old Corner Bookstore by Joanne Kalionsis, a well-known artist in Boston. Joanne is working with Historic Boston to work on these installations, and you can see up the colorful windows up at the top will be projected figures will be in there in silhouette to tell the story of people who once lived there. And then we have two research and development commissions. One is Mapping Queer Boston by Kim Topping. And this research will help Kim to propose a new or updated LGBTQ+ trail through Boston. And then On the Prowl with Rixie started this research and development project last year, and we are continuing to support her so she can develop this proposal for the bear dens, the old bear dens in Franklin Park, which are under construction right now, and spend some more time getting her proposal ready. And then we just want to share the artists who are part of the projection mapping workshop this year at Emerson Contemporary: Lincoln Nimitz Carlson, Timothy Hyunsu Lee, Claudia Spiro, Yue Hua, Roman Johnson, Hernan Nanjuba, Iwalani Halawalani, apologies, Shoza Braza, Sean Truth 11, Evelyn, and Megan Hyde. And we also want to remind you that we have a public conversation starting. We have our first one tomorrow. These are curated by Brandon Terry. This year he's being supported by Elizabeth Ross. And we've been working with him and these wonderful conversation advisors. And our first talk is at 6 o'clock tomorrow. We normally will be starting at 5:30, but tomorrow is at 6 p.m. And the theme is Freedom Dreams in America, with Professors Penel Joseph and Danielle S. Allen, with Professor Brandon Terry making the introduction. We make the invitation to that in the chat. We also wanted to let you know that we have two other on Monument events coming up. As part of the project We Were Here Too by Roberto Mighty. There's a public launch happening on Wednesday, the 21st at 1 p.m. and an artist talk at the Old North Church on Wednesday, the 28th at 5, doors open at 5:30 p.m. So we hope you can join for both of those. And with that, I will pass back to you, Chair Andrus.
Thanks so much, Karen. A lot to look forward to. We'll now move on to the items on the agenda for review, public testimony, and commission vote. On the screen, you'll see instructions for how you can participate in today's meetings. If you have technical difficulties, you can ask questions in the chat and a member of staff will help you. When public testimony is requested, you can press the raise your hand icon and we'll call on you. If you're calling in, please press *9 to raise your hand. And normally this is a moment where we have a chance for people to ask questions, but we do have a number of projects, so I'd like to move forward. So our first project for discussion is Pictures of the Year, and I pass to Amber Torres to introduce.
Thank you, Commissioner. Excuse me. A few weeks ago, I met with the Boston Press photographers and Lisa Menino from Property Management for a site visit at City Hall to identify a site for the 2025 Pictures of the Year. Excuse me if I have the year wrong, my apologies. We wanted to make sure the proponents considered any impact the installation might have on the current uses of the site, the flow of pedestrian traffic, and the experience of City Hall employees and constituents who use the space daily. I'd like to invite the Boston Press photographers up to tell you more about the project.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sophie. I'm filling in for Meredith today. And Paul, I think you have my slides on deck. Awesome. Okay, thank you, everyone, for being here. My name is Sophie. I'm an independent photojournalist and on the board of the Boston Press Photographers Association. I'll be sharing a little bit about our Pictures of the Year exhibit. And I know the year thing can be confusing. It's looking back at 2024 as we come into this new year. And I also just wanted to say thank you so much to Paul and Amber for your steadfast support and collaboration. We're really looking forward to the summer. All right, next slide. So who are we? The Boston Press Photographers Association is the oldest press photographers and TV Photographers Association in the United States. And core to our mission is the belief that documenting our communities, documenting our neighbors and the people who live in our area, it's a privilege. And the images we make belong to and with the public. The people we are photographing deserve to be seen. They deserve to see each other. And so that's one of our core beliefs as that kind of drives this project. Every year, we hold a Pictures of the Year competition, and this recognizes the year's best of photojournalism among photojournalists in and around New England. The work features both published and unpublished works. So these are published pictures in newspapers and magazines, but also photographers' personal projects, and staff photographers and independent photographers can submit. We bring judges in from outside of the region who are both professional photojournalists and photo editors, with the idea being to get fresh eyes on our work. And this judging process is open to the public via a live stream on our public Facebook page. So our contest spans about 13 categories, ranging everything from spot and general news to features, portraits, animal and environment, pictorial, you name it. Really every category of news that happens in Boston over the course of a year. Great. And so this year we brought in three judges from outside of our region, including Jerry Holt, who is a staff photographer at the Minnesota Star Tribune, Christine Wynn, who's a photo editor on the politics desk at the Washington Post, and Rory Doyle, who's an independent photographer in Mississippi. We try to bring in people who we think can bring diverse perspectives, both in terms of who they are, but also where they're working, to really weigh in on our work that they're looking at. Great. I think this slide this is part of a list of, I think, about 20 honorees who were recognized in this year's competition. And I think maybe on the next slide too, you can really get a sense of, that might have been split. Sorry, if you can go back to the previous one. So the photographers in our area span everywhere from the Boston Globe and Enterprise of Boston and Boston Herald and Patriot Ledger to larger wires like Reuters, Getty and AFP and AP News. There are a lot of photojournalists who take care in covering the city of Boston and the larger region. And these are some of the people who were recognized in this year's competition. Okay, so the result of our competition, our Pictures of the Year contest, is a really thorough visual historic record of the many stories that have impacted communities here in the Boston area. It's really a portrait of the year. And so in our next slide, I'll give you all just a little bit teaser of this year's winning images. And what I love about these pictures, you can keep moving, thank you, is it paints a portrait of the city. And that's what photojournalism is, right? It's holding a mirror up to the places that we live, the people that we interact with. Awesome. All right, so this is our 5th year doing this public exhibition. Historically, we've been in Copley Square, Nubian Square, Jamaica Pond, Boston Common, and last year in Central Square in East Boston. And each year, as we consider where we want to place our exhibition, it's important to us that we're going places we haven't been before. We want as many eyeballs to be on these works as we can. And so thinking about this coming summer, on the next slide, we'll be starting our exhibition on BU's campus from May 23rd to June 7th. And then on June 7th, we'll be moving to City Hall Plaza. And I'll talk a little bit more about what that process will actually look like. All right. So this kind of gives you an aerial view of our exhibition. And my colleagues have had site visits with Lisa Menino at City Hall and Amber to kind of figure out the exact placement of the cubes. We wanted them to be close enough that it feels immersive and it is kind of a contained exhibition, but also obviously wide enough that it remains ADA compliant. And we're really excited to have our dates confirmed, June 7th to the 23rd. This also happens to be coinciding with Boston Pride, the Portuguese Festival, and Pizza Bowl. So we're really thrilled to like have our work included kind of in all of these celebrations happening around City Hall Plaza. Thank you. Great. Okay, so the cubes themselves, they're 8 4-sided cubes that are 70 by 70 inches on each side. The panels, the canvas panels are water resistant. They can withstand weather and wind, and they are attached to custom fabricated metal poles. An intro panel kind of welcomes visitors and orients them to the exhibit. So this was last year's a photo from last year's exhibit, which was on the Common. The hardest part about installation is putting them together, which we will have already done by the time they move to City Hall Plaza. And so the good news is that they will be 3/4 of the way pre-assembled. And all we really have to do is move them in trucks from BU to City Hall. They're weighed down by these large water containers that we've gotten, and we're in touch with the Boston Fire Department about filling them. Each cube is kind of attached to the poles by large wires. And the great thing about this process is that it's not destructive. So there's no drilling, no hammering or anything. The cubes simply sit weighed down by these water barrels. And we expect that the installation should take about 3 to 4 hours, just depending on traffic and our timing with the fire department. But we have a great team of volunteers who are experienced with the process. Alrighty. So once the exhibition is up, we really do our best to get the word out, and we send a press release out every year. It's usually picked up by local outlets like the Globe, the Herald, GBH, and BUR, and we're also doing a lot of outreach to journalism and photography programs, schools, and universities. We recognize that this time of year is really great for tourists, and we've tried to engage Boston Public Schools to get classes out and students engaged with the work. It is just kind of an awkward time in the school year, with almost being towards the end of the school year and some after-school activities ramping down. But we're trying to get creative with how we can best engage the public and youth in like really pointed efforts. And so Paul connected us with Mariana Ray and Morgan Clark at City Hall. We're going to try to organize some guided tours with BPPA photographers and honorees, so that we can actually walk visitors through the exhibit and give them more context to the work itself. So yeah, we'll be thinking about that moving forward. And just wanted to point out, so GBH is one of our largest media sponsors, and they do a really good job of getting the word out about the exhibition through their member guide, their large screen over the turnpike, displaying pictures at the public library studios. We've also had some members go on air and some panel discussions about their work, and we're trying to get the word out on social media as well. We're a volunteer-only organization with no staff, but as we think about the year ahead, the good news about these canvases is that they can be fixed to anything really. And so I think thinking about coming back to you guys next year, we'll hopefully have ideas about maybe how to put the canvases on fences so they can live beyond the cube form, and kind of go places where the cubes can't. But that's really it for us. We're really excited to be continuing this project, and getting eyes on these pictures and giving the work back to the community.
Thanks so
Right.
much, Sophie.
Yeah, please let me know if you'll have any questions.
I've seen many of these iterations, and it's so great to see the community spend so much time with these, and I especially like the additional tours you may be giving this year. I now open it up to any commissioners who might have questions or comments. Are there any members of the public who have a question or would like to make a comment? Well, you've done a good job, Sophie. Hearing no questions, I ask if any commissioner would like to make a motion to approve Pictures of the Year final design.
I'll
I'd
make
li-
that motion.
Brian, I'll
Uh,
take that motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Thanks so much, Abigail. After I say your name, commissioners, please say yes if you agree. James,
Yes.
Diana,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Abigail,
Yes.
and I too am yes. So congratulations. Looking forward to seeing this, Sophie, and thanks so much for coming and sharing this with us.
Thank you all so much. Really appreciate it.
And now, James, if I can pass to you.
Thank you. Our next project for discussion is Portraits of Pride. Amber, this I'm passing off to you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Portraits of Pride returns to the Bard-Stark Commission for approval once again, this time at a new site this June for the month of Pride. The proponent, John Dolan, originally hoped to present this proposal at the April BAC, but hadn't quite found a site that met his installation requirements. I'm glad that Lucianka from the Parks Department was able to help us select Christopher Columbus Park as the final site. So, John, I'll hand it over to you to tell us more about this year's installation.
Thank you, Amber. Good evening, commissioners. Great to be in the virtual space with you all. This is our fourth time presenting this. I'm really excited that this project will be coming back to Boston. The Portrait of Pride 2025. Next slide. Am I able to move the slide? I doubt that. There you go. Thank you. So this is a photo of last year's exhibition, which was on the Sea Green Park in the neighborhood of Seaport. As you may remember, the first edition was on Boston Commons, second edition was on City Hall Plaza. The third one was on Sea Green Park, and then that fourth one will be on Columbus Park. And what you're looking at is a series of portraiture photography that we print at 8 feet tall and 5 feet wide, attached to a wooden frame, which sometimes are either anchored when that park allows it or held by sandbags so that they are standing tall. The project is presented by the Boston LGBTQ+ Museum of Art, History, and Culture. The museum's mission is to research, collect, conserve, and sharing the history of LGBTQ in Massachusetts. So we do that through a series of communications, public programming, and community engagement program. And our vision over the next few years is to acquire a large permanent space to house a permanent and rotating exhibition of the museum. And so Portraits of Pride is part of our public art programming that we do every summer. Thank you. So what Portraits of Pride is, and I'm saying this because I'm not sure if all the commissioners have been on the previous presentation, it's really a celebration of the LGBTQ leaders and LGBTQ residents that we have in Massachusetts, but it also centers the LGBTQ history that Boston and Massachusetts have, because when we honor these people, it's really putting a focus on the work that they've done, the advocacy role they've played, and pushing for a more inclusive city and making sure that our city has this driven continuous commitment towards equality and equity. So it's really a celebration of the place of this city, but through these people, because they've done this work. Next slide. Thank you. So this year we are excited to present 20 portraits that will be installed from June 1st to June 30th. So for the whole duration of Pride Month, they will be installed on Columbus Park on Atlantic Ave, 100 Columbus Park. As we've done in the past, they will be installed by a general contractor. I will be there doing that installation. I always try to be there so I can make sure they line up in the right way. And then we will also do those daily check-ins to make sure nothing has happened. If unfortunately there's any type of vandalism, so we can remove that right away, or if anything needs to be adjusted, we do these daily check-ins for maintenance purposes, but also because every day we take people there to see it, different companies, different organizations, different groups, different pride groups. So we tend to be there almost every day out of the 30 because we're curating these visits. Next slide. The photography itself are the work of John Hewitt, who is our photographer, has won the Photographer of the Year award by the Lucy Foundation, is also a great one of the great photographers for the Olympics. So excited to have him leading this work. And I just serve as curator and creative director and scheduler and presenter, all the extra work. That's more of a bio about John Hewitt. I think some of you might be familiar with his work. He works with the again National Olympics Committee. He has also been the photographer on the Boston Uncornered project, which had been on the Seaport in Boston Common in 2019-2020. So some of our core values for Portraits of Pride is really making it public art, making it accessible for people to be able to see. And just like everything that we do at the museum, that there's no cost to barrier. So we love that this one, at the scale that it is, and for the amount of resources and dollars that it takes to put it together, people are still able to enjoy it for a whole month long. So that's a core value for us. We really value the visibility that it brings, how intergenerational it is, not just for the people that are exhibited, that are included, but also a representation of the whole community and by extension, the whole city. And then the last piece for us is inclusion. We try to have the exhibit in different areas all the time. So that's every year. So that's part of our inclusion sort of model. But also what we try to do is have a virtual campaign on our social media, on our website, where that lives beyond the exhibition in person. We understand that 30 days is a very small window and that there are many people who may not be able to see it for different reasons. So after that one in person, these portraits still exist on our website and our social media for folks to engage with them, our conversations, and then we do some virtual engagement as well. In the past, we've done some virtual galleries through an AI platform. We are still figuring out that aspect. This is the opening of the first one, 2022. Funny how time flies by. So this was an opening on October 1st, 2022 on Boston Common. As you can see, it does draw a crowd even in the rain, to my surprise. Next slide. So this year, it will be installed on this path of Columbus Ave. So I work closely with Lucianka from the Parks Permitting Department. We reviewed the site, and then we went for a site visit, did a little tour, and then picked this one as the safest. But also, I was very intentional as to not sort of ruin the visitor experience, because this park has a view of the ocean, of the waterfront. So that's why we picked that side, so that it's not obstructing that oceanic view. Or even if you're on Atlantic Ave, you can still see the park to the fullest. So they'll be installed right there. So these two potential folks would just be looking at the left of them for them to look at the portraits. So on June 1st, all the portraits will already be attached to the frame. They will be pre-built and they will be brought to the park and will be installed. And that means unloading them from the truck, putting them in place and adding a sandbag on each of the sides. So each portrait will have 4 sandbags. If you zoom in this photo, you may see some of them just have 1 or 2. In that first year, a couple of them fell down because of the wind. So that's why we've added more sandbags to make sure that they stay tall. They are printed on a non-adhesive material that is weather doable. They will still look the same by June 30th. And then by June 30th, that same general contractor will go back and pick all of them up as they've done in the past. Some of the wood frame we try to keep if they are still intact, and if they're not, we give them to different sort of local unions or different smaller construction companies who may use them. And also a general contractor work in the construction space, so they always find good use for them. All the portraits are printed by a local company, the Science Center. And I want to mention, I had asked Lou if there was any additional permit required for the installation, and that was a no. So the only permit we needed was the actual park use, which we've obtained. Just reiterating, all the portraits are work of John Hewitt, and you're about to see the portraits of this year. So this is sort of the first time we're sharing them. This is what they will look like. We try to pick very professional pictures of these human beings and these leaders. What we also deem as very respectable portraits. So you're looking at Chancellor Julie Chen from UMass Lowell and the Commissioner of Public Health, Mr. Goldstein and Mary Bernardo from GLAD, who had been in it in previous year. So really a nice representation of leaders who have done incredible work over the years. And so we just hope that people will find them inspiring, maybe entertaining, or even just for the sake of the art medium itself. The photography is gorgeous. So these are the photos that will be printed. I'll stop now in case anyone has any questions that I can help answer, or if anyone needs any clarifications.
Commissioners, do any of you have any questions or comments?
I'd like
Eager
to
to
just
see
make a
the
comment.
exhibition.
Oh, I'm sorry, Abigail. Go ahead.
No, I just said I'm eager to see the exhibition. Thanks.
I was just gonna know, John, that I've enjoyed these exhibits over the years, and I remember the first year in 2022 seeing them and being so delighted by the message and the scale of the installation. So excited to see this make its way to the waterfront.
Thank you.
I was just going to note too, it's exciting both for this presentation, Sean, and then also for our previous presentation by Boston Press Photographers Association to see the kind of multi-year commitment to these projects, which is exciting. And it's really fun to kind of see these come before the commission every year. So congrats.
Thank you.
Does anyone in the general public have any comments or questions? You'll have to help me with this, John, because I can't see anyone.
Yeah.
No hands yet, James.
Well, with that being said, would a commissioner wish to make a motion?
Sure. I move to approve final design of Portraits of Pride.
And do we have a second?
I'd like to second that motion.
Thank you, John and Abigail. The motion has been carried. And
No, we have to
congratulations.
vote. We have to vote, James. Sorry.
Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. So let me call the vote. John,
Yes.
Diana,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Abigail,
Yes.
and I vote yes as well. And I'll repeat, the motion has been carried. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, commissioners, for approving this again. And for being so committed to public art, especially in the times that we're in. And also want to express my gratitude for the team within the Office of Arts and Culture and Ember and Paul for all the thought you put into this and the guidance. It is really appreciated. The exhibition is only as good as it's been because of this team that always take care of every detail. And the 1 year it's been on City Hall Plaza, also playing the role as stewards of it, checking on it daily on our behalf. So it's very appreciated, all the work you put in. Thank you.
Thanks for your work, Sean. Much appreciated. Our next project for discussion is Mirror of History on the DeWitt Playground, and Birgit will introduce.
Hi, thank you, John. DeWitt Playground, a long-term city commission project, consists of courtside painted graphics, sculptural shade structures, and a collage of graphic panels on modified fencing titled Mirror of History. Artist Marlon Forrester and Studio Luz have shared their project throughout the design development and are here this evening to share the updated final design, including selected and improved images for the Mirror of History. I'll now pass it over to the project team to present the final design for the Mirror of History at DeWitt Playground.
Good evening, commissioners, city staff, and the audience at large. My name is Joshua Sebufu, and I am the designer and project manager at Studio Luz Architects. And I'll be standing in instead for the play team to be presenting the final design update for the DeWitt Playground project as a part of our Boston Arts Commission review. And just to start our presentation today, I'd like to reiterate that this project has developed to this stage through a deep commitment to community engagement, and it honors the creative vision of artist Marilyn Forster, and while celebrating the rich legacy of social justice rooted in the Lower Roxbury community. Next slide, please. This timeline highlights the key milestones from early design reviews and community engagement to the Boston Art Commission reviews as well, culminating in today's final update, reflecting a collaborative, community-informed process over the past 4 years this project has been in development. Next slide, please. Just to situate ourselves again, the DeWitt Playground is located at 2 Madison Park Court in Roxbury, adjacent to Madison Park Athletic Complex. And the images to your right show views from the main entry at DeWitt Drive and from the basketball courts, highlighting the site's role as a vibrant community space. Next slide, please. The project includes 3 major art installations across the site in its scope, namely the Mirror of History, the shaded canopies, and the painted sidelines, which bring a sense of motion and vibrancy to the courts. And next slide, please. In today's presentation, we'll be focusing on the Mirror of History. Next slide. In our last presentation to the Commission in December of 2024, we received approval for the painted sidelines and the shaded canopies. And the Mirror of History received an approval on condition that the design team secures image use permissions for all the images featured on the mural fence. And we're pleased to report that those permissions have now been obtained, and the commissioners have been provided a copy of the compiled permissions for reference. Next slide, please. And the design mural fence has also been revised so slightly since it was last presented to the Commission in December. In collaboration with our fabrication and graphics teams, we made key adjustments to image placement, panel layout, and material sizing to better align with installation constraints. While the overall narrative remains consistent, these refinements ensure that the design can be executed more accurately and durably in the field. And the current design is the larger image on the bottom. Next slide, please. And here we see the updated roster of the historical figures featured in the mural. Following extensive discussions with the Malcolm X and Ella Collins House for permissions to use the Malcolm X image, the decision was reached to respectfully remove the Malcolm X image from the project. While his legacy is still significant or relevant to the project, it was agreed that his narrative did not fully align with the specific story and the themes that the foundation believed that this installation was aiming to convey. But the remaining figures reflect a broad spectrum of social impact, all chosen based on the feedback collected from the community in earlier community engagement. Next slide, please. And to recap on the technical design details of the Mirror of History, the front elevation facing the full court integrates portraits within a layered composition of perforated and reflective stainless steel panels. The rear elevation uses similar geometries, offering a more abstract structural visual from the half-court side. And the design incorporates a mix of open areas and reflective surfaces, and applied graphics to create a dynamic experience from multiple viewpoints while ensuring constructability. And the next slide also just kind of like goes far more in detail of these designs. Next slide, please. And here we kind of like have a breakdown of the materials and maintenance strategy for the Mirror of History developed in collaboration with our contractor and fabrication team. In summary, the mural fence uses a durable epoxy coated steel and UV laminated panels with anti-graffiti properties requiring gentle cleaning and routine checks, obviously. Emphasis on no power washing or harsh solvents to be used to clean the installation. And then on the next slide, we see the Mirror of History in its delight in our rendering. Oh, next slide, please. In our rendering, creating a dynamic intersection of community, memory, and reflection and recreation. Next slide, please. The project is still moving forward closely on schedule with fabrication now already underway. Construction is slated to begin in next month through August, culminating in the anticipated public launch at the park this coming September. Next slide, please. And some of these are the kind of like some of the photos of the material testing that we've been undertaking, refining paint application for the sidelines and making sure that we validate the print resolution and contrast for the mural graphics on the perforated panels. And that should be all. Thank you very much for your kind attention throughout this presentation. And at this time, I'll yield the floor to the commissioners for your feedback.
Thanks so much, Joshua, and thank you for pursuing those image permissions. Much appreciated. Commissioners, do you have any thoughts, comments, or questions? I know we have seen this project before. Go ahead, Abigail.
I'll just say I appreciate seeing the development of the project over the many months.
Thank you so much, Abigail. Appreciate it.
Any other comments from commissioners? Any members of the public who'd like to make a comment or ask a question? Well, I think we were sort of waiting to hear back on image permission. So I know that we have reviewed this project before. So with that, I'm curious if any commissioner would like to make a motion to approve final design of Mirror of History at DeWitt Playground.
I would be happy to make a motion to accept final design on Mirror of History.
Thanks so much, Abigail. Could I get a second?
I will second.
Thanks, James. Please say yes if you agree with the motion, Commissioner, after I say your name. James?
Yes.
Diana?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Abigail?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. I know it's been a long time coming, but now all components have been approved. So congratulations,
Absolutely.
Joshua, and to Marlon and the rest of the team. Really excited to see this realized.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, commissioners, on behalf of the team. Thank you.
And John, I'd just like to add, for me, it's been exciting to see the work at basketball courts and other places where people gather to play together. Not just this project, but several others. I just love that for our city.
I very much agree, Abigail. Yeah, thank you for saying that. James, I'll pass to you for our next project.
So our next discussion is We All Belong. And Paul, I'm passing this off to you.
Thank you, James. Last year, the BAC approved the final design of We All Belong, a mosaic by Mia Shun, created in collaboration with students from the Phineas Bates Elementary School. We're very pleased to share the final images of this mural and review it for acceptance into the collection of the City of Boston. The We All Belong mosaic mural consists of 2 walls, ceiling coverage, and 2 pillars in the entrance vestibule, which you can see outlined over here. And here is the big reveal. The Phineas Bates mosaic mural splits into 4 vibrant sections as the 4 seasons gradually transition one into another. Phineas the Fox, the school mascot, is hidden cleverly for students to find in each season. Within the mosaic is the Phineas Bates vision: be safe always, accept others, try your best, excellent work, show respect and kindness. Along the pillars on the right side is the text Phineas Bates, and on the right side, is We All Belong to encourage school pride as we double down on the school's mission statement to provide an equality, inclusive education that affirms the identities of many individuals. And here are just some close-ups of the work. The artist Mia is here with us today too. You might notice these square little details over here. These tiles are made up of students' beautiful paper mosaic artworks that they created in Miss Drake's art class last year. Additionally, many students placed tiles within the mosaic and assisted with the installation process. At the mosaic's heart, the seasons blend seamlessly, representing all seasons harmoniously, symbolizing unity and diversity. Varied textures, tiles, patterns, imagery, and text enhance the emphasis on inclusivity. Next, you'll kind of see our maintenance plan, which outlines the frequency for visual inspections, as well as different kind of scenario based off of different ways that we provide maintenance, cleaning recommendations, as well as professional assessment guidance. In the next slide, you'll see outline the materials that are referenced, as well as the dimensions of themselves, and grout and paint color for that's associated with them. And then here's a lovely picture of Mia with her installation. And that is it on our end.
Thanks, Paul. Commissioners, do you have any questions or comments?
I think this is the first mosaic that I've seen, maybe during my time on the commission. So, Mia, just thank you for your work. It's exciting to see this kind of new medium. We see a lot of painted murals or vinyl, you know, that kind of thing. But I really like the commitment to the medium, and I know that's a time-intensive medium too. So, congrats! It's colorful and bright and kind of reflective of the school community. So, congrats.
And Mia, yeah, this is one of the best things that we get to do as commissioners is to accept new work into the collection, and your incorporation of student work. And I know all of the work that you did with students at the school means that this will be meaningful to them for many, many years to come. So thank you very much.
Thank you guys to everybody and for being thoughtful and helpful during this process. I know it took a lot longer than expected, and I really appreciate all of the commission's help, and also Liza and Paul. It was a privilege to make it, and I'm happy it's complete. I hope you all can see it in person someday soon. Thank you.
Any other commissioners? If not, how about the general public? Does anyone have a question or a comment?
I see no hands, James.
I see. With that being said, is there a commissioner who would like to make a motion to accept this work into the collection?
I can make that motion to accept We All Belong into the Boston Art Commission collection.
Thanks, Brian. Anyone to second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. So let us do a roll call. John.
Yes.
Diana.
Yes.
Brian.
Yes.
Abigail.
Yes.
And I'm a yes as well. We're now accepting this work into the collection. Congratulations.
Thank you all.
With that,
Mia, yeah, congratulations. Thanks so much for your work. I'm really excited to see it. I think we can all agree with that. Our next project is Untitled Long-Term Murals as part of Canvas of Culture at the Sarah Roberts Washington Irving School, and I will pass it to Liza for introduction.
Thank you, Commissioner. So today I will be presenting for artist selection, several projects that will be commissioned under a Canvas of Culture. A Canvas of Culture is a public art initiative through the Mayor's Office of Arts and Culture in collaboration with Street Theory and through the Percent for Art Fund that integrates large-scale murals and other public art projects at capital improvement sites throughout the city and in schools across Boston's neighborhoods. In its second year, the initiative will once again concentrate on sites at Boston Public Schools, connecting artists whose work aims to amplify the aesthetic, cultural, social, and educational richness of schools while adding vibrancy to our schools, to our city's landscape. Next slide, please. So in its inaugural year, we commissioned 12 artists. 5 murals were completed last summer. We just accessioned 1 mosaic today out of this initiative. Congrats again, Mia, and great, great work. And 6 more murals will be painted this spring and early summer. Here is a glimpse of some of the amazing work installed during the first round of a Canvas of Culture last summer. I would like to take a brief moment to let commissioners and our community know that sadly, we learned that the artist Israel Spike Guerrero Romero, who painted at the Curtis Guild Elementary School, which is the artwork on the bottom right corner, passed away unexpectedly last month. This news came as a surprise to our team, but we are grateful that we were able to remember Spike through the incredible work he painted for the East Boston community. So for this round of a Canvas of Culture, we released a call to artists on January 15th and closed it on February 26th with 196 artist applications, a slight increase from last year's 164 applications. In this year's call, we presented 2 opportunities, one for artist installed work and the other for design only scopes, with MOAC facilitating the fabrication and installation of non-painted 2D applications, such as more mosaics and 2D vinyl work. For our selection process, our criteria and process was pretty comprehensive. We aim to prioritize artists that have a strong connection to Boston and or the overall themes of individual sites, possess robust and original artistic vision, have work samples that demonstrate artistic experience and the technical ability to execute similar public art projects, and plans and experience that engage the community through public art. The school's artist selection committees included school leadership, art teachers, and students. You can move on. Thank you so much. So the first site that I'm presenting to you all for artist selection is the Washington Irving reconfiguration, and which is now called the Sarah Roberts School. Thank you so much. So the Sarah Roberts School will include 6 project sites. 4 of the 6 sites will be executed as hand-painted murals, and 2 sites are design-only scopes where the artwork will be fabricated and installed as mosaic and vinyl. 3 artists will be recommended for these sites. Our first site is the main entry lobby wall. This interior wall in the school's new building extension is a prime location with high visibility where artists have the unique ability to tell the story of Sarah Roberts, its mission, values, and community. The second site is an exterior staircase wall facing the school's play space. This wall will be restored to a condition that is ready to paint. Together with the school, MOAC recommends artist Laika Nuna Yawar from Newark, New Jersey for both the interior lobby and the exterior staircase walls. These are some examples of their past work. Laika's general concept for this project would be to create a mural in collaboration with students that centers around their visions for the future. He asked, how do they imagine the best future possible? What does it look like? Who do they see in this future? How is the earth doing? And how are our communities living in this future and in this city? His role in this process is to create a space for imagination and communal brainstorming to then take this feedback and turn it into collective mural design, then paint the mural on site. Next slide, please. The third and fourth project sites at this location are 2 exterior brick walls facing the courtyard, courtyard walls A and courtyard wall B. These are the elevations of those walls. And together with the school, MOAC recommends artist David Zayas from San Juan, Puerto Rico for both walls. These are some examples of his work. David's work represents his Puerto Rican roots, whether loudly or subtly in symbolism and ideology. He sees his murals on the mainland US as a portal between cultures, speaking both to local residents and to the main island. Boston's Caribbean diaspora has embraced and inspired his work, and he looks forward to exploring this connection, which the school was also very excited about. The fifth artwork site contains the east and south walls positioned above some step seating in the school's corridor. Given the likely high usage of this area, this artwork will be fabricated and installed as a mosaic. This project includes a design-only scope for the artists, with the mosaic fabrication and installation managed by MOAC. The sixth project site, just right above this slide, is the cafeteria walls, which will be installed as vinyl. For both the corridor and cafeteria sites, we are recommending artist Corey Thomas, who is a regional artist based in Lowell, Massachusetts. This is their work as well. And Corey is a dedicated public artist, a student of Purdue University's creative placemaking program. She's very excited about bringing vibrant, inspiring murals to Boston Public Schools and aligning their artistic vision and commitment to creating meaningful connections within communities and its youth. So those are the 3 artists that I'm recommending for the 6 sites at the Sarah Roberts School. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Liza. Commissioners, any comments or questions?
I have a question. Liza, I'm just curious how artists are selected. Is that street theory that makes that selection from the call?
So it's a combination of things. I do, through street theory, I do an initial round of taking a look at all of the applications and grouping them into those who would be a best fit for some of these sites. And then I present a shortlist to schools for them to take it back into their communities and let us know who their preferred artists are for each of the project sites. And then those preferences are reviewed by the team, MOAC staff, in making those final recommendations.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Any other comments or questions? Liza, it's a nice selection of artists, and I'm so thrilled that this single school will get so much artwork for the students to enjoy, and that the communities get to be a part of selecting it and creating it together. So thank you for your work on that. Any members of the public that have a comment or would like to ask a question? Hearing none, would any commissioner like to make a motion to approve artist selection at the Sarah Roberts School?
I'm happy to make a motion to approve artist selection for the Sarah Roberts School.
Thanks, Abigail. Would anyone like to second?
I'll second that.
Thanks, Diana. Please say yes if you agree with the motion. James,
Yes.
Diana,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Abigail,
Yes.
and I vote yes as well. So the motion passes.
Thank you.
Abigail, do you think we have time for one more?
Yes, I need to leave at 6:15, so happy to vote as long as I'm here.
Okay. Thanks so much, Abigail. Take it away, Liza.
Thank you, John. And just to give you a heads up, Abigail, we have 2 schools and just 2 artists. And so in full awareness of your hard stop at 6:15, I should be able to get through these last 2 really quickly.
Thank you.
Yes, of course. So the next school is the Beethoven School located in West Roxbury. It's known for its friendly and welcoming atmosphere for students and their families. They serve students from pre-kindergarten through 2nd grade with a focus on encouraging students to be mindful of their wider world while embracing the motto, learn with joy each day. The site that we've selected for artwork here is the auditorium, which is a prominent location where students and their families gather. And in addition to school and community functions, this location also serves as a voting site for the district. Next slide, please. Together with MOAC, we recommend a local artist named Sabrina Dorzainville from Boston, Massachusetts, who will do a hand-painted mural in the interior auditorium. And these are examples of their past work. Sabrina brings her experience with collaborating with youth on public art projects and creating pieces meant to engage a range of audiences. Recent efforts have included designing a piece with youth centered on care with a mural program in Rochester, co-hosting BPS students with restorative justice and design sessions, and designing activities to pair with her mural installation at the ICA centered on communal care.
Thanks so much, Liza. It's great to see Sabrina, whose work I've seen in so many different places, selected for this. Any comments or by commissioners? Any members of the public who would like to comment or ask a question? With that, would anyone like to approve the artist selection for the mural at Beethoven Elementary?
I would like to approve the artist selection for the Beethoven School, Beethoven Elementary.
Thanks, James. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thanks, Brian. Commissioners, after I say your name, please say yes if you agree with the motion. James,
Yes.
Diana,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Abigail,
Yes.
and I'm a yes as well. The motion passes. And Liza, there's one more project, I believe, yes?
Yes.
Actually, can I just interrupt? I just received notice that my the thing that I need to be at has been delayed by 15 minutes, so I'll be able to be here till 6:30. Thanks.
That's we won't maybe need that much time, Abigail, but thank you so much for the flexibility.
Thank you so much, Abigail. Our last site for artist selection tonight is also located in West Roxbury at the Orenberger School. This school serves students from 3rd to 8th grade. They strive to develop a nurturing learning community in which all students can thrive. They work hard to instill a love of learning in their students and push them to become critical thinkers and community leaders. The Orenberger will host a large-scale mural on both sides of their entrance lobby, and this mural will welcome all who enter the building. This is one side of the main entrance lobby, and the next slide will show you the other side. Together with the school, MOAC recommends local artist Michael Talbot from Belmont for hand-painted murals on 4 walls of the main lobby. These are examples of his past work. In recent work, Michael's been exploring the themes of transformation, growth, and the fleeting nature of time, and the need to cherish and honor what or who we have in our lives, to give everyone their flowers while they're still here. His imagery features flowers, fauna, stars, constellations, which have become more prevalent in his work. And we are excited to see what he develops for the community at the Orenberger School.
Thanks, Liza. Commissioners, do you have any comments or questions? I open it up to any members of the public that might have a comment or question.
I was just going to say, Liza, thank you for stewarding these projects. I know we're moving through them quickly, but a lot of work has gone into this, so congrats.
Well, commissioners, would anyone like to make a motion to approve artist selection at the Orenberger School?
I'll make a motion to approve artist selection at the Orenberger School.
Thanks, Abigail. Could I get a second?
Second that.
Thanks, Diana. Say yes if you agree with the motion, commissioners. James,
Yes.
Diana,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Abigail,
Yes.
and I vote yes as well. And Liza, yes, just to echo what Brian said, I know these processes take a lot of research and work on your part, so thank you so much for organizing them. And we're all, I think, really excited to see these projects realized in these schools. So thank you very much. And for MOAC staff as well.
You're welcome. We're excited as well, and we'll have more schools and more artists next month.
Thank you, Liza.
That's so great. Now, last order of business is adjournment. Would any commissioner like to make a motion to adjourn?
I would like to make that motion to adjourn.
Thanks, Abigail. Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Hey, thanks, James. If you'd like to adjourn, commissioners, please say yes. James? Apparently you want to stay, James.
Yes.
Diana?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Abigail?
Yes.
And I move to adjourn as well. Thank you all so much for your time and all of these amazing projects that we've reviewed and voted on. So until next month.
Thank you, John. Thank you, everybody.
See you then.
I'm not sure I can stop the recording. Paul, do you want to give it a try?